Good morning, everybody. Um, Today we want to discuss the genesis of the Nigerian crisis we are facing today. The economic crisis we are facing today. What was the origin? What was the genesis of this crisis? Well, now, in my opinion, this crisis we are facing today were not accidental or something or random or unexpected. But I would rather say we carefully crafted it, planned for it, and organize it in institutional forms. And then when it starts happening now, uh, it baffles me how people look surprised. Uh, Now, let's go back to our history. You see, some of the crises we are facing today are due to non-economic factors, not necessarily. Um, it's beyond economics itself. If you remember, even at independence, Nigeria never had true nationalists. What we had were people that were at best you could say pseudo nationalists. But the our leaders at that time, at independence, were regionalists rather than nationalists. Sardona was for the north. Owolowo was only interested in what concerns the southwest. Azikwe was for the east, which is the Igbos. So you find that the question we should ask ourselves: who stood for Nigeria? Who stood for Nigeria? See, so that was why even the First Republic itself was dead, a dead on delivery project. It only lasted for 5 or 6 years, and there were coups and counter coups. Why? Because the foundation upon which the country lies, is very porous because of this ethno-religious chauvinism. Everybody in Nigeria is guided first by his ethnic group, his ethnic interests, and then what follows is religious interest, and then you find that it is at the tail end that possibly patriotism or nationalism comes into play. So the trouble with Nigeria is that everybody is only interested in what concerns or what benefit will come to his ethnic group directly, okay, or possibly his religious groups. That is why when appointments are made, the first thing people ask is, where is he or where is she from? So that you want to identify, the national identity of, of the person. You want to know his root, where does he come from? Uh, then if he is not favorable to you, then the next question you ask, what religion does he practice? So that it is only through those uh, either ethnic or religious group that we feel we are comfortable with people, But this issue of lack of nationalism, lack of patriotism to the country is what is biting the fabric of national unity. And then when you don't have that, how do you expect to set solid foundation for economic, political, and whatever institutional arrangement you want to make? It's not going to work. If you look at the U.S., for example, almost all the ethnic groups in the world have representation in the U.S. It's the most plural economy, but at the same time the most developed. Why? Because they prioritize nationalism, you know, above any other sentiments. That's why you have Japanese American, Indian Americans, African Americans, all the ethnic Arab Americans. You have all the representation of the world in that country. So, and then you find that people have affiliation to the US government more than their home country, okay, because of the benefit, the protection the welfare they enjoy from from that country, So it's that is the practice globally. Now, if you look at a care, just a simple example is people that Muslims that go to Mecca in Nigeria for Hajj. You find that um, I have not been to Mecca. I hope someday I can afford to go. But from what I observe, what I watch on TV, and what I read, what I see physically, it's like it's only Nigeria, perhaps, the only country that goes to Hajj with 37 uniforms. That is one country, 37 uniforms. But all over the world, people identify themselves by their country. But it's only Nigerians that want to identify themselves with their micro space within the national space. Nigerians are quick in telling you that I'm a Nigerian, but I'm from the south. I'm a Nigerian, but I'm from the north. There is always a but, so that you want to, identify first with your ethnic group, possibly your village or your local government or your local community first. I'm not even saying local government, because there are local governments that have different ethnic groups. So one local government, people want to identify first with their ethnic group. So this is the trouble. And then this has made us compromise, national progress for our own primordial ethno-religious sentiment. For example, if a corrupt government official is arrested, possibly by the EFCC or any anti-corruption agency, and he's indicted for corruption, people from his ethnic group now will personalize that arrest, that the son of the soil has been arrested unlawfully, and then people that steal government money and then come back to their community, they are celebrated. Sometimes traditional titles, awarded to them, or even at the national level, they are given National Merit Award, or OON, CON, and what have you, because we, our mindset is comfortable with anybody that steals from the federal government or the state government, so long as he belongs to our ethnic or religious group. Now, a country that has this mindset, it will be very difficult for that country to grow, for that country to develop, because there are no people that are concerned about the overall progress of the country. In my opinion, it's because the military coup in Nigeria were a blessing rather than a cause, because it appears it's the military that is the most sentiment-free institution in the country, because it's the military that has that cohesion of national unity. If you look at the government of military, they try to have this federal, representation in all their appointments, and then their concern is the country because of their training. So I think those military institution, the military personnel that rule this country, the coup we had, if you look at it, even from Gawan, without the military coup of Gawan, Nigeria would have collapsed because of the civil war. And then when politicians take over, you find that they fan this spirit of, ethno-religious divide, because they enjoy this divide and rule. So I think uh, this is the beginning, the genesis of our crisis, because we are built on a porous, divided arrangement. So this issue of indigenship, settler, host communities, is one of the reasons, is one of the manifestation of this deep hatred we have for ourselves. People from the north, and even within the north, like one of our professors used to say, even within the minorities, there are minorities. Okay, so this issue of indigenship, I think it's outdated, and should be, you know, proscribed, so that the most important thing is somebody to carry Nigeria's passport. Your national identity card should be prioritized than any indigenship paper. Thank you so much.